So this is not your regularly scheduled content, obviously. Whew. But we need to talk about a thing. Kind of bad. So, let's talk about this week. It's been a week between the debacle that was the Speaker of the House election, which was unprecedented, and a whole can of yikes. Performative ridiculousness on both sides of the aisle. And yes, you'll see that I call my side out as well, quite frequently. And everything that happened in Brazil today. It's been a week. So let's just talk about it. Before I get any further, I'm not a journalist. I'm not a political scientist. I'm just a junkie. And I will be going into political science and possibly tentatively journalism as well. So that is definitely a future career path potentially. But yeah. Ha. Well, 2023 has exploded onto the scene, has it not? It is, and I'm not kidding, the 8th of January, I think. Yes, it is in fact the 8th of January. So I just want to talk about some of this stuff. This is going to be very much just my take on all of it. Again, I hold no official accreditation in any of this, but this is just how I feel on all of it and all of the things. But we need to talk about it because, to put it mildly, what happened today and Donald Trump's presidency, objectively, makes something like Watergate look like sleeping with your secretary. This is bad, guys. This is ultra mega, you've got to be kidding me, international incidents, international charges, international crime, bad. This is bad. Really, really bad. So let's just get into it. Yeah. Let's just get into it. So, everything that happened with the House this week was, to some extent, performative nonsense. There were certain members of Congress who purposely held up the vote to pull their weight around, to make themselves more important. When Matt Gaetz did the whole present vote, it became very obvious that he was doing this to mess with members. He was doing this to mess with people. He was doing this to manipulate people. And this is not the first time I've seen him pull something obviously and overtly, exceptionally manipulative on camera, in front of audiences, in front of the entire country and the whole world, which makes me wonder, how bad is he behind closed doors? It is truly and deeply concerning, truly and deeply stressful, and truly and deeply scary, and shockingly horrifying. And yet it happened, and it happened because, and again, this is coming from a place. Yes, I'm very democratically leaning. Yes, professionally, if and when I run, it will be on a Democratic ticket. Yes. Just acknowledging my bias there. But coming from an abject perspective, looking at this through a political science lens, again, not an actual political scientist, but I'm learning, and a strategic lens, which I played Stratego with my brother, which if you've ever played Stratego with my brother, makes you a pretty half-decent strategician. Or strategician. Strategician. I think that's the right word. Is ugly. It's ugly. And this level of dysfunction, this level of dysregulation, this level of discord is not going to work. And we'll talk about how this gets worse in a little bit later, because this all feeds into everything else. But the fact that it took 15 rounds of voting to get a Speaker of the House shows that this majority doesn't know how to work and play well. They don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to negotiate. They don't know how to play strategy well. And they are running around, the blind leading the blind, without leadership. That is what this shows. They do not have an actual leader that is pulling the party. And again, coming from an abstract lens, this is, yes, my opinion, but also backed up by multiple political scientists and other people that are calling this out and saying this doesn't make sense. The fact that there was almost a fight on the Republican side with Republicans is outstanding. That somebody actually had to be held back from another member, my more than one member, is embarrassing. It's insulting. This made international news globally this morning. Think about that. Think about what that says to the world, to us as a country. Think about that. It's not a pretty look. It's not a good thing. It looks bad. It looks juvenile. It makes us look like a bunch of rich kids that wanted to stick it to daddy. Oh, wait, that's who created us. But anyway, it's not pretty. It's not a pretty look. And that's where we are. And tonight, we look even worse in the public global eye because of Donald Trump. And again, this is not an opinion. This is cold hard fact. And I know that there are going to be some Trump cult members that are not going to get that and can't hear what I'm saying. And I understand that. I understand the psychology and the reasoning and the fact that they are stuck in a cult and they can't hear what I'm saying. All they can hear is criticism against Trump, and Trump is quite literally a god or a savior in their minds. But, Trump facilitated, or at least led, some level of suggestion to a coup attempt in another country. If you don't know, a few weeks ago there was a whole scandal with the outgoing president of Brazil not handling the fact that he lost his election well and throwing a fit, and because the Brazilian constitution is very different than ours, he was not allowed to say these things. They are actually illegal, the things that Trump was saying, because he literally took Trump's playbook from Trump directly, because these men know each other, these men work with each other. I have his name up here on screen because I know I can't say it properly. And I don't even want to attempt to butcher it, and too many people are right now, so it's like right here. And yeah, this is ugly. This is like beyond ugly. This is like yikes, holy crap, bola ugly. This is international incident ugly. This is bad, guys. This is real bad. So now Trump and other sitting members of the United States Congress have been linked directly, personally, to an attempted coup on the Brazilian government. Let me say that again so it sinks in. Former President Donald Trump and sitting members of Congress have been linked to a coup attempt on the Brazilian government. Again, not opinion. Fact. This is fact. Straight up, direct fact. This is being reported in our media. This has been reported in the Brazilian media. It will be international news tomorrow morning. So single-handedly, basically, this week, Donald Trump has made the House of Representatives look ridiculous. And we're going to talk more about why people's freaking out online is insane about that in a minute. But has attempted to throw, or has at least led with some sort of, guidance or suggestion or something to another attempted coup on a foreign government, is currently under multiple levels of indictment in New York State and City, and several other things. Republican Party, get your house in order. Kick Trump out. Hold members accountable. Take them out of their seats. The ball is in your court. I can't touch it. You know I can't touch it. You need to do something, or the American people aren't going to keep dealing with this. They aren't going to keep putting up with it. And I think it's really telling that leadership, at least supposed leadership, within the Republican Party has been moot on Twitter and on every other possible way they could get out statements. Has been completely and totally moot. Where are they? What are they discussing? Because, to say this is oh shit would be an understatement. Okay? Okay. So all that's happening. And I want to talk about the discourse that I've seen on Twitter, especially, as well as other places online, where people have decided that Trump is this mastermind that is like pulling the strings and is a puppet master behind the House of Representatives, and he's purposely trying to take the country down because he's evil. Come on, people, really? He just attempted, or at least advised someone else to attempt to throw a coup in the exact same way that he attempted to throw a coup that ended, thankfully in Brazil, for the Brazilian people, with arrests today. And yes, the Brazilian justice system is different than ours, and it takes a different path. And I don't know enough about it to actually speculate or talk about it, but regardless, that's what the Brazilian government has done. They've already arrested people. And yes, court cases are happening. And yes, DOJ is absolutely investigating Trump to an insane degree, and charges are expected to come out soon. And I am not one of those people that thinks DOJ is looking for an excuse. There are a lot of people that think the DOJ is looking for an excuse to not have to prosecute Trump. I don't think that's happening. I'll explain why in a second. I will also suggest that you guys listen to the podcast Jack. If you think, and I'll link it down below, if you think that Trump is going to get off scot-free, he's not. That's not what's happening here. What's happening here is our justice system working. Okay? So, that has happened in Brazil. The former Brazilian president is currently hiding out in Florida. Thank God not with Trump, because that would be such a level of an international incident that, it would be a problem. We're going to end it there. It would be a major problem. But, so, there are people online, I've seen them, especially in Democratic spaces, that think that not only is DOJ not going to do anything because they haven't done it already, it took 4 years to do Watergate, for the record. Most cases take a long time. So we're going to talk about this. This is what we should be hearing. We shouldn't be hearing all bits and pieces and parts and stuff coming from these investigations. We shouldn't be hearing anything. We should be hearing exactly and exclusively what DOJ wants out to the public. And not only are we not hearing that, we're not hearing leaks, which means it is so internally under control that they aren't letting leaks come out. And DOJ is super fucking leaky. So if the DOJ isn't letting leaks come out, and we know there's active investigation going on, because there is, and we know that they know that there are grand jury trials happening, we know that these things are occurring, we know all this stuff is happening, all of it, yeah, it's gonna happen. Now, I can't guarantee that he will be convicted, of course not, and I could not sit on that jury, I'm gonna be completely blatantly honest. But I also know that the Brazilian government is already going to prosecute a sitting member of Congress before this whole thing just happened. And we also have an extradition treaty with Brazil, which means they can ask for people to be extradited, which means they'd be taken to Brazil by Brazilian authorities, sitting members of Congress. Yeah, that's where we are right now. And if I look and sound mad, it's because I am. It's because I am. And it's not at DOJ, because DOJ is doing its job. This has to be the most airtight, secure, most rigorous, most controlled case where there is no wiggle room, where there is no way to get out, where there is no break, where there is no possibility, unless something that happened in the 1930s and 40s with all of the members of Congress that were pulled up that were working with the Nazis, where the judge died, full on just had a heart attack halfway through the trial. Unless that happens again, this is probably going to trial. Probably. Feds have a 90% closure rate. The guy who will actually be doing the prosecution has almost 100. This is going down. It's going down, and it's not going to be pretty. This is going to be ugly and brutal and chaotic and scary. But it's going to happen. The jig is up. They're coming for Trump. And now that he's been implicated by multiple sources, 4 months, and a foreign country's attempted coup, international charges can also be handed out. And this has become an international incident. So yeah, that's where we are. That's where we sit. Yeah. This is where we sit on January 8th, 2023. It's gonna be an interesting year. It's gonna be a real interesting year. Oh, but like I was saying, all the people that are freaking out about the House of Representatives. Yeah, it's not ideal that these idiots are in power. And I say idiots, I don't mean the Republican Party. I mean people that are pretending to be Republicans, who are really probably Nazis. No, I'm not using that term in jest or lightly. I mean, they're literally probably actual Nazis. Like, legitimate, probably full-on Nazis. And yeah, they still exist, by the way. That's who I mean. Yeah, and you know the people I'm talking about. Those are the people I mean. Yeah. I'll link some podcasts down below that I recommend everybody listen to. But no, we've weathered something kind of like this. Obviously not the Trump situation. That is a whole new can of wow, I think. For even the entire world. I could be wrong, though. I probably am. But definitely the United States. And, yeah, this is gonna get ugly real fucking quick. I mean, it's already really, really, really ugly, but it's gonna get real, real, real ugly. And, yeah. This is where we are, guys. It sucks. But anyway, there are adults in the Senate. There are adults in the White House. So don't worry that much. Even if crazy bills end up hitting the floor of the House of Representatives, they won't pass into law. And they have to go through the whole process every single time. So every single time there's a new Congress, they have to go through the whole thing. Now, it can sit being written in the halls of Congress forever and then get revitalized, but it has to go through the whole process all over again. Normally multiple times back and forth to the House and the Senate. Every time there are revisions, it has to go in the Senate, it has to go back to the House. Every time there are revisions in the House, it has to go back to the Senate, and so on 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 and so on. Bills turning into laws are actually rather collaborative and take a lot of time and work and detail. However, that's just what it is, right? So I wouldn't worry about any of the random bills that you're seeing pop up that have been supposedly written. Who knows if they're even legitimate? I haven't looked into any of them, and I haven't seen actual reporters reporting on them. So it's very possible it's not even an actual bill that actually exists in the actual world. So yeah, that's what's going on right now in the world. Yikes. We look real bad right now, guys. I am really embarrassed right now. This is horrible, and we should all be ashamed. We have a lot of work to do. Alright. Regular videos will be out. You'll have a regular bug video this week, and then the other video will be up later. I've got actual stuff I gotta go film, so I'm gonna go do that.